Episode number 199 of the Wholesome Fertility Podcast. On today's episode, I welcome Stesha Reukauf. So I've had Stesha before on episode 143 if you guys want to hear more about her story, but she has a background and has gone through her own fertility journey to do what she does today, and I am excited to have her back. Welcome to the Wholesome Fertility Podcast. I'm Michelle, a fertility acupuncturist here to provide you with resources on how to create a wholesome approach to your fertility journey. Welcome back, Stesh. I'm so excited to have you.
Hello, Michelle. This has been, the anticipation. I just love being here with you, so I'm very excited.
Well, we have great conversations, and I think that we definitely think a lot alike in regards to how there's so many different elements that come into play for fertility and for really overall health and consciousness and well-being. We were just talking actually in the pre-talk about womb healing, what that means, and how womb trauma can impact fertility, like what role that plays into the fertility journey. So I'd love to get started and talk about that.
Yes, jumping right in, wasting no time. This is what I love. So, so yeah, to give some context around the fertility journey, because so many women think they're having this unique expression of a fertility journey, but honestly, it's like we're all on this path of awakening, is
Yes.
what we're doing here. And whether we've had a miscarriage or whether we've just been trying for a really long time, there comes a point where what we're doing on the physical plane is just no longer adding up or it's no longer working if
Mm-hmm.
it did, right? So, for example, the 20 different fertility diets that I've tweaked and changed and held myself accountable to for the last month, years, what have you, the all the different testing and the supplements and the tracking of our ovulation, etc. These are all such important ingredients, but without the energetic intention behind it being from this place of wholeness and maybe body awareness and nourishment, then these things just actually deter us from where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes completely out of alignment with creating a baby. Like we can't constrict and restrict our way to creating life. It
Oh
just
my
doesn't
God.
logically make
Such
sense.
true words. I mean, it's so true. Like, and I see it. I see it a lot of times, and it could be so overwhelming that really what stands out the most in that moment is the overwhelm over everything else. And so that's when you're like, okay, so what's the priority? The priority really is well-being. And if you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed and constricted, like you said, then it's just stomping over whatever the efforts are.
Yeah, and I've seen this go two ways where, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming, so I'm just not going to do anything in
Hmm.
terms of like nutrition and nourishment and well-being versus I'm going to go so hardcore on this that I completely constrict my body and my
Yeah.
energy field to the point of there is no baby being conceived in this realm for a long time. And so what I've really seen, and we'll get back to like how womb trauma fits into this, really what these two things stem from is not feeling safe in our masculine energy.
Hmm.
So I am an embodied feminine fertility coach. Like this is what I talk about on the daily. But what we forget is in order for us to lean back, to let go, to trust our body, to lead with our intuition,
Hmm.
we have to know that we're safe in that
Oh my
container. We
God, that's
have to know
true.
that we can just let go and be caught.
Hmm.
And so, wounded masculine energy, masculine energy is getting such a bad rap lately, but it's the wounded masculine, meaning the grasping, the needing. I'm going to outsource my power to something outside of me because I don't have it within.
Hmm.
So I see this is why we either completely reject the structure and the strategy or we outsource all of our power to it.
Hmm.
It can go both ways. But it's because we don't have that solid structure within. And I mean, we could talk about this for days, but really what it's about is the mother wound and patriarchy over 7,000 years of this wounded masculine perpetuating through women, but also through men, right?
Hmm.
It's the dominant Western culture, and it's not serving anyone clearly.
Yeah.
And it's this, I don't feel safe and secure within me. So I need X amount of money in order to feel okay. I need to
Hmm.
get pregnant by this time in order to feel okay.
Hmm.
I need to have this kind of partner or this kind of this. We're outsourcing our power to doctors, to experts, etc., to know that to tell us that we're okay versus this inner knowing.
Hmm.
And here's where the womb trauma comes in. Our womb is, it's like this manifesting portal. It's like where our energy becomes amplified. So if you think about a baby, right? We receive masculine energy.
Hmm.
We create a baby, it gestates, it magnifies, we birth it into the world. Like this is the blueprint of life,
Hmm.
where we receive, the feminine receives masculine, and then we create and manifest over and over and over again. This happens with ideas. We receive an idea
Hmm.
from the universe, from the divine masculine, and within ourselves, we manifest, we create it.
Hmm.
You see this happen over and over and over again. So what's happening in womb trauma is if that we have all of this distorted masculine energy held in our womb, then we're manifesting distorted energy. So let's say if we've been imprinted with this wounded masculine energy from generations past, collectively, etc., even sexual trauma within our own lives, then this manifests into just attracting more of that. And so we need to grasp for the meal plan. And if we don't hit it absolutely perfectly, we make it mean that I'm never going to get pregnant. It's all on me. It's my fault. I should have stuck to this perfectly. And now I didn't. Now I'm never going to get pregnant. We've
Hmm.
completely outsourced our knowing and our truth and our belief in ourselves
Hmm.
to this thing outside of ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I look at it in a similar way, but a little differently. I haven't thought about it as a masculine, but it's really just kind of not realizing our own power, really the faith that we have in our bodies. And that's what it comes down to, is just really knowing, like this knowing of who we are and what we're capable of and what our bodies are capable of and how our minds can interfere with our bodies doing what they need to do in order to create balance. And I look at it like as the yin and the yang. Maybe it's the way I've been trained. I kind of like look at it a lot that way, but you just see it everywhere. You see it manifesting in every part of nature. It reflects everywhere. And it really wants to become balanced. It wants to. And usually when we have these symptoms, it's like the body is yelling at us to pay attention. And so everything that happens in a way is actually in perfect place. Because even when we get out of alignment, we'll have symptoms or things to give us our attention, basically get our attention so that we can see what we need to do in order to bring it back. So like all roads lead to the light. It's just a matter of kind of coming back to yourself.
Exactly. Yes. And so that coming back to yourself, that used to, like, what does that even mean? That used to be my reality. Like, what do you mean get in your body? Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And and coming back to like the woundedness and the trauma, it's like we've been so traumatized and then taught not to feel our emotions because
Right.
they're bad, they're wrong, they're embarrassing. If you feel them, you'll be stuck there forever. And so here we have all of this opportunity right below the neck
Mm-hmm.
of not only, generations in our personal life of wounds like unworthiness and not enoughness and scarcity and lack and what have you. That's
Mm-hmm.
all locked underneath us, and it's seeping out into our life and we don't even know it. And we're
Right.
so scared to venture down in there because we've been told, nope, you just need to rationalize it. You just need to think your way through it. You just need to push through. And again, like this is all wounded masculine programming.
Well, in a sense, we're
It's
we're following somebody else's blueprint.
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not necessarily aligned with us.
Hence all of our symptoms.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Oh, yes. And so when you can create that safety, like this is my favorite part. Whenever I bring on a client, this is the very first thing we do. It's like we have to create safety of bringing our awareness from our head, from our thinking mind, just slowly down into our neck, into our chest, to our solar plexus, eventually into our womb space. And it's like the deeper we go, it almost seems like, ooh, things are becoming a little more gray, a little more shadowy, like there's not a lot of circuitry there. And so it's beautiful how we just get to kind of work our way slowly down and create safety until eventually we do get to the womb space where it's like, oh, yes, there's trauma here, but there's so much wisdom. I
Yeah,
think what
that's
we
that's
miss,
who we really are, is the wisdom.
yes, yes. So by the time you get down to the womb space, it's like, there I am. And just like because your womb space is this amplifier, this portal of manifestation, you clear out what's not yours in your womb space. There's no more trying. There's no more doing. It's just an isness. You just get to be now. It's like this coming home. Oh, this is who I am. And then it's just peace.
I love that.
And that's why, like, I know a lot of people call it womb awakening or but that's really what it means. It's like you've awakened your womb space, who you truly are, your soul, your soul's essence. And so everything that we've been striving and grasping and earning and proving, all of that just gets to go quiet because you've cultivated all of that within yourself. And this used to sound like a pipe dream to me, like, oh, yeah, yeah, okay, must be good, it must be great for you. But I had intellectualized everything. I've read all of the books, thinking that, oh, I already know that, so I don't need, like, I'm good.
Right.
But I hadn't embodied it.
Yes.
It hadn't become the frequency in my cells. Like it was just stuck
Yeah,
up in my
but
head.
it's hard. How do people get to that point of embodying it? Like, how does it? Because for people listening to this for the first time, or at least trying to conceptualize it for the first time, it might seem very foreign,
Yeah.
to really bridge. And how does one get to this point of really connecting within themselves?
That's a really great question. So this if I were had to like get it down to a process, it's first like this shedding of what's not ours. The programming that says you can't have it all. You can't be like that. You have to do it this way. So once we shed that process, which is just about getting into our body and healing those wounds, another way of saying like this on like a mind level is like what are those limiting beliefs that you're living by? Those are actually living libraries in your body. And the reason why it continues to feel like you're hitting a ceiling or self-sabotaging over the same things or in the same emotional roller coaster is because we have these programs in our subconscious. And so, instead of writing out my limiting belief, I'm not enough, crossing it out and writing I am enough over here, that's a very intellectual process. Instead, we're doing that on a body level. And
So
that's,
getting in tune with your body, like physically,
yeah,
or even
yes.
dancing, moving.
Yes, I,
Because seriously, I mean that could shift so much.
yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Because these things are living forms in our body. But the best way that I can explain this is that these stories, these belief systems, it's almost like locked in as a memory that your subconscious was like, remember that one time in second grade when you raised your hand and you thought you knew the answer? And then the teacher said, no, that's not the right answer. And then kept like pointing it out to you and kept like making you an example. And you were like traumatized. Remember that? Yeah, that's why we never raise our hand in class again.
Right.
That's why it's not safe to speak your truth.
Mm-hmm.
So our subconscious locks away memories just like this into our body, and they're going to show up as felt sensations.
Right.
So, for example, that was a true story, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Had no idea, right? This was locked away in my subconscious. I think about all the times in school where I knew the answer and I wouldn't raise my hand, and my heart would be beating out
It's
of my
such a
chest.
common thing. A lot of people experience that and they're afraid to speak their truth.
Yes. And your nervous system is like, you're
Yeah.
gonna die.
Or when
You're
they go
gonna
around a
die.
circle and they're about to get to you and you
Yes. And you're
think
just
you're
like,
going to fall off your seat.
yeah, my name is Stesha.
Yes. Yep.
So, like, that didn't just, that's not who you are.
Right.
This is a program. Your subconscious was like, you raise your voice, you speak your truth, you will die. And that's why your nervous system gets so triggered like that.
Right.
So, in this process, it's about, okay, this is definitely a thing for me. This is showing up in my life. The
Mm-hmm.
universe always shows us what's ready to be released.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a living sensation in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Like this for me was right up in my throat. Imagine that.
Wow. Interesting.
And so it's going to feel like tension, constriction. And so you move your awareness into that where that wound is being kept and held until you're essentially ready to address it. Your body's like protecting you until you have the tools and capacity to heal it and address it and basically integrate it into who you are. A lot of times this work can be like, oh, we just need to get through it. So then on the other side, I can be healed. And I was stuck in that mode for so long. Like, oh, once I heal that limiting belief, that wound, then I'll be there. But the thing is, it's a gift, it's a process. Like now I don't want it to ever end. Like I want wounds to show up everywhere because I know once I feel into that and heal it, it's integrated into wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So that process of I'm not enough, cross it out on paper and write I am enough, that's what happens when we heal these things within us. You're integrating it on a cellular level.
Right.
So that emotion is just an energetic frequency. It's not good, it's not bad. Once we feel into it and release it, then it infuses into wisdom, into a new belief, into your truth, basically, of
And
I
there's
am
more
enough.
clarity. And also, Joe Dispenza, I love him a lot. He talks a lot about that. He talks a lot about why habits are so ingrained and our bodies just won't let us get through it because our bodies are where we store that habit a lot of times, and we'll feel that constriction. And interestingly, this is it sounds sort of not related, but to me it is. I burned my finger the other day.
Yeah.
I was so annoyed because I was about to go to sleep and I was so tired. It was a Friday night at the end of the week and I was like, I'm so ready to go to bed, and I burned my finger and I was so annoyed and pissed. I was like, I can't believe I did that. I just want to go to sleep in peace. And it was really painful. As you know, when you have like a burn, it starts to, I mean, it wasn't anything crazy, but it was just really like burning me and it hurt. At the tip of the finger, of course, you have a lot of nerve endings, so it made it worse. So what happened was, it was interesting. I was just sitting there and I kept like feeling the burn and wanting to figure out how to like what to put on it and what to do. And then I just said, you know what? I'm just going to like feel the burn. I'm going to feel this burn. And I said, maybe if I could just feel it and not resist it, almost welcome it, maybe that'll make my body be able to do whatever it needs to do, bring all the blood, and I'm not going to constrict anything. Maybe it's going to let me like get through this faster. And I swear to God, I literally like felt the burn. I just sat with it. It pulsated. It was like the worst thing ever. And within minutes, it dissipated. It's insane. So I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. I was like, that's crazy. It's as if I just allowed it to open up and I didn't hold it back from doing what it needed to do. It's almost like when you're wanting to cry and you're holding back. So then that feeling of wanting to cry lasts weeks, where it could just last a second and you could just purge it at the moment and just release it when it needs to be released, and don't hold back. And I was doing this on a physical level, and I'm like, this is like this with everything.
Oh my gosh, that was the best example I've ever heard because it really is so analogous to emotions as well.
Yeah. We always like try to stop crying or apologize for crying or
Mm,
how we're
yes.
feeling. We're so afraid. Just like say it, just be, just let it out. Yeah.
And that's like a perfect segue into what I see a lot, and I'm sure you do as well, is like women so afraid of miscarrying again because they can't
Oh,
handle
yeah.
the sadness or the grief, or they can't bear to fail another, quote unquote, fail another treatment cycle, or can't bear to experience another negative pregnancy test at the end of this month. And so that right there, like I know that reality
Hmm.
of just not feeling like I'm in control is the wrong word, but it's very relatable, like in control of my emotions, meaning if I'm letting my reality dictate how I feel. And so I'm scared that the next time reality shows me this thing, then I'm going to feel that way, get stuck there, be miserable, and my relationship's going to be on edge. I'm not going to be as productive, and yada, yada, yada. What we do when we get really sad and depressed. And so this is a perfect example of not feeling it.
Hmm.
And I want to make a distinction here because many women are like, oh, I feel it, right? I'm depressed. Like I'm feeling my depression, right? I'm feeling that fear. I'm feeling. The difference is it's like a thought, what I call a thought feeling loop, where you get that little feeling sensation in your physical body and it bounces right back up and you make a meaning out of it.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, I'm sad. Oh my gosh, like don't be sad. Oh my gosh, keep pushing through. Oh my gosh, blah 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 blah. And we just stay up in our head and we create all these stories about it and we reaffirm our limiting beliefs about it. And then boom, we get another sensation. Oh my gosh, you're getting even more sad. Oh my god, blah, blah, blah. Instead of just taking a deep breath and feeling the physical sensations in your body. That's feeling.
Hmm.
Feeling the physical sensations of the emotion in your body, not making it wrong, just like you said, allowing it to be there, leaning into it, expanding it. Because if we have no fear around emotion, why wouldn't we do that? It's just the conditioning that we've been told, don't feel that. If you
Right.
feel that, you're wrong. It's embarrassing. There's no value in feeling emotions. Just put your head down, stop crying, push through. And so everything below our neck becomes this black box. And it's so like when I work with women inside of their fertility journey, when we open up that black box, now we start to create massive confidence and belief in their ability to get pregnant, their belief and the connection to their physical bodies, no longer feeling at war with them, no longer feeling like, oh my gosh, my body's broken. What more do I need to do to fix it? It heals so many different aspects that we feel inside of the fertility journey that no doctor, no supplement can even scratch the surface.
Hmm.
And I'm just really feeling this collective awakening to that. And they might not know have the words for it, they might not know how, but they desire it. When we were talking about before this, the we started recording, it's like this coming home feeling. Like I know I'm meant for more. I know I'm meant to have a baby. I'm meant to have this kind of family. I know I'm meant to have this kind of wealth and relationships and connection. And I know who I'm supposed to be, but
Hmm.
it just feels like I'm carrying all of this stuff and it's keeping me from actually getting there.
Right. And sometimes even believing the wrong things from what we're hearing outside of us, or practitioners, or limitations that are put on a lot of people that don't know medicine. They're not trained in it, so they go to somebody else and So believing that, and then, but knowing that inner knowing that you were just saying, like, I know I'm meant to do this. I know I can do it. And that quiet little voice that's kind of wanting to come out and be heard within
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all the answers are right here within us, and that was something that I heard again and again, like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
Once I do this thing and it works, then I'll do the inner work. Then
Hmm.
I'll quote unquote find myself. And it's like, no, that always comes first. Energy always comes first. And I talk so much about being in alignment. And typically, this is just like a foo foo word, like, oh, wouldn't that be nice if I just felt aligned all day? But
Hmm.
how we get to a place of being aligned where we wake up, we know where we're going, not from this place because I have this perfect structured plan and they said that in 3 months I'm going to be here, not from that place, but this knowing of, oh, I know what I'm meant to do,
Hmm.
and I'm on my way there. And I don't need to know how, I don't need to know when. I'm so certain that because it's on my heart, it's meant for me. Done.
Yeah.
No micromanaging, no controlling, no obsessing. And in the in between, it's like, okay, now how do I go live my life? That's fun, that's pleasure filled, with deep connections, with all the kind of experiences I want to have. Then you get to this place of, I don't need to follow this perfectly strict gluten-free, dairy-free, whatever it is, unless your body is, clearly telling you that that stuff doesn't work for you. But if you're just doing it because you think you have to and you're miserable because of it, then that's out of alignment. That's not nourishing. That's not getting you closer to baby, even though it's exactly what they said is the right thing to do.
Right. They. Yeah. Those darn days.
They.
They always tell us everything to do.
I know. Who are they?
Yeah.
And that's just exactly the point. It's like, they? No, me.
Right.
I like to eat this way. And I love myself. I'm honoring myself. I'm respecting myself. It's not an excuse to go out, well, I love pizza, so I'm eating that for every meal. No, that would never be from a place of self love and self respect.
Hmm.
But when you wake up, like, this was a beautiful, my client sent me this picture of, she's like, I ordered a sourdough and salmon, and it was beautiful arugula and sprouts on it. And we were just starting to work together, and we were talking about, like, we don't need to be so restrictive.
Hmm.
And she felt so free and just like, ooh, that's what I wanted. And so this is what I'm going to eat. And it tasted so good, and done.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. There's this feeling of just opening up and freedom within yourself when you feel, okay, like I don't need this extra pressure. It just feels right. And it's really a balance. And I think within your body, like, your body tells you a yes and a no a lot of times. I think getting in tune with that yes and no is really important.
So important. I mean, that is embodiment.
Yeah.
Like, when we talk about being embodied, it's body led.
Hmm.
Your awareness is, it's almost like it's looking out through your body, if that makes sense, versus looking out through your eyes. It's like, yes, we are still using our mind to make decisions, but it's in service to our body. We don't
Hmm.
override our body with our mind. It's our body says, yes, or no.
Right.
And then our mind goes, okay, perfect. Then let's go this way.
Yeah.
Versus, oh no, we're not allowed to have that. So shut up and be quiet.
Yeah,
Sit down,
it is
body.
interesting how your body just always communicates with you, just kind of paying attention to that. And if it's overwhelming for somebody who's listening that's never done that before, just ask yourself. I remember reading Shaman Durek's book. I don't remember what the name, I'm so bad with
My
names and
goodness.
titles, but it was Shaman Durek's book. And he said, say to your body, body, give me a yes. Body, give me a no. And just sit with it. Like, do it every day and start to feel what that feels like within yourself.
Yes.
And then start to pay attention to that feeling. And then you're going to start to recognize it because you're actually designed to recognize your body's instinct. You're supposed to. So it's just a matter of making that connection or reconnecting that back again,
Yeah.
taking your attention back away from that distraction and back into your body and what it's designed to tell you.
And you said it best, like we were designed to be this way.
Hmm.
And if you're anything like me, coming from such a traumatized place, being so in your head, so in the wounded masculine, where it's like, I'm sorry, what? My body's going to tell me yes? Like, this is ridiculous. No, my mind says yes.
Hmm.
So if you're coming from that place, it's okay because it's just telling you that we have this black box of your body and we're holding some things there and it's not scary. We don't need to re-experience any trauma, but your subconscious is not letting you in there because it's trying to protect you. It thinks it's scary. And so when we venture in, we create that safety, when we go into our body and we start feeling these things out and releasing all of these programs and limiting beliefs and emotions that we thought were so quote unquote deadly,
Hmm.
now we get to access our body's wisdom and intuition so much more easily. Sometimes when I see like women try to jump straight into like the fun healing stuff in our body, they're in their head the entire time and they don't get the benefits because we didn't first create that safety of dropping into our body. It's so important. And I wish there was just like an easy meditation on the internet like I could just give you, but it's essentially just closing your eyes and body scanning. Is the best way I can
Oh, body
explain it.
scanning is
Just
amazing. I love body
yeah,
scanning.
yeah. You do that every single day. There's where your answers lie.
Yeah, your body will talk to
So,
you for sure. Yeah, body scanning is amazing, and also just your attention by itself. That's why meditation, when people meditate, it looks like they're doing nothing, but they're doing so much. Just like
oh
when
yeah,
people are sleeping, it looks like they're doing nothing, but their body's doing so much. When you're in a state of just awareness, just your awareness itself is intelligence, and just your awareness itself can heal. So when you
yes,
start to pay attention to different areas in your body that are tight, just pay attention. Don't try to change it. Just watch it. It's simple. And when you do by itself with its organizational intelligence, it just does. It just
it
unwinds
does.
it.
Yeah. And this is perfect. Like when you start like going into quantum biology, quantum physics, like this is what they talk about is like there's a blueprint for your physical body and it lives in your energy field.
Hmm.
And when things become distorted, then our physical body becomes distorted. And so you clean up your energy field and your physical body, your hormones, your skin, everything, it becomes a reflection of that.
Hmm.
And this was just like the greatest aha moment. I think this is what Joe Dispenza really allowed me to do when I was first getting into this was realize, oh, so you mean like there's another layer that I can focus on to heal my physical body versus just physical to physical.
Hmm.
It was like, oh, you go a layer deeper in order to heal the layer above that. Okay, I got it. And this is why I loved root cause functional medicine so much too. So apply that same principle of like getting to the root cause, but to a layer deeper
Hmm.
in the energetic field, in the spiritual realm. It's like,
Yeah.
where am I spiritually misaligned? Where am I energetically misaligned? Go to those places. Your physical body will just spontaneously match that. And Joe Dispenza is so great at that. That's what's responsible for all of his spontaneous remissions of
Hmm.
people paralyzed and having cancer and tumors and all of these things. It's like, oh, how do we go from a one weekend seminar to I'm spontaneously healed? It's because we worked in the energetic field.
Yeah. It's powerful. I think that there are many different routes to healing, and absolutely, like if you change your diet, I think part of it's also this really strong alignment to food. Some people just love that. It's their language, it just feels right. So that's part of why they're healing so well with food. It's just this chemistry that they have just with that language of healing. It's kind of like the five love languages. Well, it's like many different healing languages as well.
I've
Some
seen that
people,
happen
yeah,
too.
some
Just
people
like, oh,
really
that was all
relate.
you needed.
Yeah, some people really relate to the structure of Western medicine and they do really well with that. And so everybody relates on a different level. If you can master your mind, however, if you can master it, you don't need anything. That's like, if you could just master that, I think eventually we will evolve to do. I really do believe that. And I think some of us are. We have that potential to master our minds. You look in India, there's some people, they're called breatharians. They breathe.
I've
That's
heard
all
of
they do. They
this.
don't eat. They breathe in a way that is so aligned with vitality. They don't need food. I mean, I don't know how long they go, but I know that there's some crazy shit happening in India. You know, there's some people that have such strong beliefs and alignment with that. That becomes their truth. They become that. And that's the potential of the human mind. There is that potential. How to get there, I'm not so sure. I'm working on it, but there is that potential. It's there. And if you can master it, you mastered everything.
And I think, like you said it best, I think this is the opportunity for every single woman struggling, quote unquote. It seems like we're struggling to get pregnant, but it's almost like this universal pause of like, I know you desire this so much, but first, let's like raise your frequency to be able to have and to hold this with such presence and unconditional love that you desire to have. Like mothers in our spaces, like they don't just want to get pregnant. They want to be this kind of mother that gave them the kind of emotional availability that they may not have had, that can give them the kind of love and presence that maybe they didn't have as children. We desire so much more than just, oh, I want to get pregnant. And so we have to stop approaching our journey just trying to get pregnant and instead use it as this opportunity of becoming this version of me that is already a mother. Okay, how do I get there without getting too caught up in the how, but it's like how do I embody this version of me? Okay, well I have a lot of codependent relationships going on. Those clearly need to be cleaned up because I'm leaking all my energy out, leaking all my power up. It's driving me crazy. It's doubting myself. Not the greatest sex life right now, super low libido. We're kind of like only having sex because of ovulation. And so, okay, there's an opportunity to really own your sexual energy, clean up anything, any kind of traumas that could be interfering, deeply connect with your partner. Oh, I'm working in this unfulfilling job right now, but once I get pregnant, then I'll quit, right? No, we make the change now. Who do you be when you're already a mother? Like what kind of standards do you have in terms of what you're spending your time and energy and purpose on all day? And then there's support, right? Oh, I want to have this baby, but I already don't feel supported. Okay, so your subconscious is going to say, yeah, let's give you another human life to add on. You already don't feel supported, so this makes perfect sense. So where are we saying no to receiving support, receiving in general?
But sometimes it's not really any of those things. Sometimes it just is a timing thing. Like sometimes it's not,
Yeah.
because I do know that some people end up feeling a lot of times like they're at fault for not
Mm-hmm.
having a baby. Like they're not in the right mindset. And you know, there's a lot of pressure on that level of having to be in this perfect mindset in order to conceive. And sometimes it's not even about that. Sometimes it's just about timing. It's just about timing. It has to align or happen at a different time, or and sometimes unfortunately it doesn't happen. You know, there's so many different variables, but it's nothing that people can do.
Yeah.
You know, it's not anybody's fault. It's not something that like you could do everything perfect and it still doesn't happen.
Mm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's definitely like a fine line. It's a difficult thing. There's no like doubt about it. Of course, we can always like grow and learn, but the bottom line is sometimes it's just shitty.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, asking those questions of who I'm becoming, not from a place of, oh, once I do this, then I'll become a mom. But it's more of like, I deserve this anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
I deserve this hot, sexy relationship with my husband anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just being shown it. And
Right.
so, ooh, yes, you know what? You're right. Like, I do want that. And it's
Right.
going to help me towards my journey. Like, what an opportunity this is showing me.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to
totally.
have that kind of intention behind it. Otherwise, like you said, it just becomes another checkbox, a
Hmm.
checklist.
Yeah. It's definitely a tough thing because, like, for women especially, and I know that most of my patients are women, even if the husband sometimes comes in, but usually it's the women. And a lot of times it's just really just the pressure, the stress that they kind of feel like they have to put off their feeling of joy through the process. And I try to help them see their well-being as being just if not more important than anything else. Like it should be top priority.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure like you work on this and I do too so much with clients is we've been told that in order to get this thing over here, you have to sacrifice that thing over here.
Yeah,
We can't have it all at once.
right.
God forbid. No,
Yeah,
one
no
thing's
pain, no
got to
gain,
be
all of
versus
that.
the other.
Yeah.
And we've also been taught too. I mean, I see this so prevalent in my life, in my career, in my education, in my health, everything. It's you have to sacrifice yourself to get there, right? Shut down your bodily needs, bodily desires. That certainly doesn't matter. We just need to get there and then I'll be okay. Then I can start to have fun. Then I can book that vacation we've been on.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it goes back to it's like we cannot constrict and restrict our way to abundance, to having a baby. It just, we can't constrict our love and constrict our joy and our pleasure.
Yeah.
And then in order to conceive a baby, it's just doesn't work. And if it does, we just carry on all of those beliefs, you know, through pregnancy, through motherhood, until eventually we're ready to process and heal them. I'm a big believer like this stuff will find you either on your fertility journey, in motherhood, when all the kids have
It's
left the
it's
house.
anything. It's kind of like the I'll feel this if or I'll feel this when.
Yeah.
I'll be able to enjoy this when this X, Y, and Z happens. It could be any X, Y, and Z could be anything. It could be anything. It's a repetitive pattern that I think is the human condition. We always look for that goal or whatever it is that we want to have. And looking at that, forgetting the what, let's just look at the now, like what's going on. What are you feeling? Not the object of what you're desiring. And it's this push and pull. I mean, Buddhists talk about this all the time. And that's why I love Buddhism. I think it's such an intelligent and evolved religion. Just the way they look at the mind and suffering, what suffering is, and the fighting that we have as humans. It's kind of like our own internal battle of the push and pull.
Yeah.
We desire really badly, but we also resist really badly. And so that desire and resistance keeps us at odds. It's almost like if you look at interesting how nature always gives us symbols. If you look at a hurricane and you face one area on the band, you're in the push. You face the other side, you're getting pulled, right?
Mm,
And then you stand in the center and there's peace.
yeah. Oh, I love that. It's just so true. And the fine line that I found that really changed everything for me was that push pull that you're describing is when I finally trusted if this thing is like so deeply on my heart, which women in this journey that are listening to these podcasts, it's deeply on their heart.
Hmm.
Becoming a mother is deeply on their heart.
Yeah.
Know that that's for you. Like when that becomes just infiltrated in your bones, like this knowing of this is meant for me. I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know when it's going to happen. Is it going to be my own babies? Is it going to be this way? Is it going to be adoption? Is it going to be a godmother? I don't know. It's meant for me.
Right.
Then from that place, we have such certainty, such safety, such security like, okay, it's meant for me because we are the universe. We are consciousness itself.
Hmm.
This is not a mistake. This is not random.
Right. So that calling is there for a reason.
Yes.
It's meant
Yes.
to be.
Yes. So trust that it is going to be for you. Okay. From that place, now, what do we do on the in between?
Hmm.
This is what I call the void.
Yeah.
Between, oh my gosh, I want this, I desire this, and I actually get it, the void. How do we be in the in between?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why calling upon the feminine energy is so important, because being in your feminine means you trust, you lead with your body, you reclaim your power, right? You're not outsourcing, I missed ovulation, or I met my ovulation's a little bit later, or oh my gosh, my IVF got pushed off a couple of weeks. Instead, it becomes, okay, well, clearly it's here for me, so I can handle it. That's feminine power. It's this, not this not caring. It's this with such certainty that I'm going to be okay and this is for me, that we're going to move with it in the flow instead of resist it. Mm-hmm. And within this, I mean, you can just picture like how you're moving through this void with such power, such certainty. You're magnetic. You're drawing your desire in even closer. You're collapsing time. You're literally playing in the quantum field. Versus on the other side, I don't believe it's here for me. I'm not allowing the universe to guide me. I'm resisting what my body's telling me. I'm outsourcing my power to all of these different things. It's a completely different experience. I've walked both paths.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think a lot of us have. Yeah.
And the best way I can explain this to women is like, there's been something in your life where you were so certain that it was yours that you literally just stopped worrying about it. And then it came to you and it was so easy. Like, whoa.
Probably meeting your partner. It's so similar in so many ways.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
we've all had that. We've all heard about the woman who just relax and let it happen. I know it's so triggering. And by no means do we just want to like jump into that, because I really do believe that there are steps to take in order to really feel that in your body of, I'm so certain this is going to happen for me. And now I get to exhale and enjoy my life as my baby comes to me. That's what we're really trying to embody. Not this, oh, so you just don't want me to care about getting my baby and growing this family? I really want this. You want me to just give up and sit on the couch? It's like, no.
Yeah.
Opposite. Such certainty and faith that it is here for you. Awesome. That you don't think about it.
And so how do you work with people? Do you work in groups? Do you work like one-on-one? And how are people able to reach you?
I love this. I have a variety of different ways. I have one-on-one coaching, of course, quantum fertility coaching. So if like you're ready to play in that void and you're ready to collapse time and in all areas of your life, including fertility, that's a great place. My favorite is mastermind containers, where we'll get together and I'll have a transmission that we'll all start to embody, and we'll journal and we'll do deep meditations around. And we have a group chat, a sisterhood, where we can all come in, what we're experiencing, sharing our wins, etc. And so it's almost like you're receiving one-on-one coaching, but in the sisterhood container, and receiving all the coaching that everyone else is getting. It's so transformative. And then I do have a group immersion, so group coaching, where you're going to go in and get all of the goodies that you need to go implement in your life. And then there's support in group coaching calls to get any questions answered, to move through blocks. And then I also do have a podcast, Own Your Fertility podcast. So lots of juicy energy healing and feminine embodiment. If you want to know more, we can head there. And then my Instagram, stesha.reukauf. You can find me over there. I'm pretty active.
Awesome. I'll have all the links also in the episode notes. So Stesha, I could talk to you for hours, but of course we can't keep talking because at one point or another we'll have to close, but we'll continue on. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Michelle. We'll talk soon.
So that concludes today's episode. You can find all of the links mentioned on the episode notes. If you're enjoying these episodes, please take a moment to share and leave a review. Reviews mean everything to podcasters, and I really enjoy hearing from my listeners. You can also find me on my website at www.thewholesomelotus.com or email me at info@thewholesomelotus.com. I love hearing from my listeners. If you're interested and want updates as well as a free ebook on my top 10 fertility boosting habits, you can visit my fertility page on www.thewholesomelotus.com. I thank you so much for listening in and hope that you have a beautiful day.